There is a pattern in family relationships that almost no one names out loud, but nearly everyone eventually lives through. As your net worth rises, the people closest to you do not stay the same. They reorganize. Quietly, automatically, without anyone calling a meeting or admitting what is happening. The requests change shape. The tone shifts. The silences move to different places. What looked like love starts to reveal its architecture, and the architecture turns out to be financial. This is not a story about ungrateful families or corrupt money or people who were secretly bad all along. It is a story about incentives and what happens when one person's financial trajectory separates from everyone around them. The same dynamic plays out at $25,000 a year and at $25 million. The mechanism scales. Only the dollar amounts change. What wealth actually does to family relationships is one of the least discussed forces in personal finance. This is what it looks like at every level, from the bottom to the top. At zero net worth, your family has already assigned you a category, and the category is not a compliment. You are the one they are bracing for, not rooting for, bracing for. There is a difference, and you feel it before you can name it. The family has its own internal economy, and at the bottom, you hold no recognized position within it. There is always someone at the top of the family hierarchy, someone whose success sets the standard everyone else is measured against. That person does not see you as competition. That is the whole problem. You are not competition. You are a cautionary detail. The moment that sticks is not the humiliation itself, it is the ease of it. Nobody hesitates. The whole room laughs together. What they do not see is what you are doing in private. Teaching yourself. Building. Staying up past midnight on equipment you cannot afford to replace. Every family like this has at least one person in it who is not measuring you by what you have right now. She is not loud about it. She does not announce her belief in front of the table. She says it quietly, where only you can hear. That is the thing about the people who actually see you. They do not perform it. You leave that gathering carrying two things: the sting of being dismissed and the weight of 6 words from someone who meant them. One of those two things will drive the next 30 years. You already know which one. The first real paycheck changes something before you have spent a single dollar of it. It changes what you represent to the people who love you. And what you represent is relief. Not pride, not excitement, relief. The kind that comes after a long period of low-grade fear about someone you care about. There is a version of love that expresses itself as worry, and when the worry lifts, it calls itself proud. You learn to tell those two things apart. The moment you can contribute to a gathering instead of just attending it, the social calculus shifts in a small but measurable way. You are no longer arriving empty-handed. You are no longer the one who receives without giving back. It feels enormous from the inside. To everyone watching, it reads as normal. That gap between how it feels and how it registers will widen with every level. The first ask comes quickly. A small amount, framed as temporary. You say yes before the sentence is finished. You say yes because the thing you have just acquired is not money. It is the ability to help instead of needing help. That feeling is new and you do not want to lose it. The money does not return on the promised schedule. You do not mention it. The feeling of being useful is worth more to you right now than the cash. One person in the room does not participate in any of this. She thanks you and then asks for nothing. You will spend the next 30 years learning to recognize that combination because it turns out to be rare. The family's ceiling setter pulls you aside. He congratulates you in a way that is shaped more like a boundary. Stay manageable. Stay small. The blessing has terms attached. You go home and make a quiet decision that nobody will hear about for years. The decision is to stop treating the ceiling as a ceiling. Six figures changes your relationship to your family before it changes your lifestyle. The number moves through the family network without your help. Someone tells someone posts something. The information travels faster than you do, and then, without ceremony, without acknowledgement, without a single honest conversation, your position in the room changes. You are not at the edge of the table anymore. You are at the center of it. Nobody apologizes for the years you spent outside that center. The seating arrangement simply updates itself, and everyone pretends it was always this way. The people who ignored your calls now track your news on a 4-day delay. Good information reaches them, and roughly 4 days later, contact is reestablished. You notice the interval. You will keep noticing it for the rest of your life. There is a moment when you overhear someone describing you in a way they have never described you to your face. Bigger than the family standard. The arrow pointing up instead of down. It should feel good. It does feel good. But underneath it, you notice that they are not proud of who you are. They are proud of what you might become worth. The family's top earner is no longer laughing at you. That shift is not warmth. It is threat assessment. You have become a variable he has to account for. You go home and put the one piece of evidence you kept from the lowest point somewhere you will see it every day. It stops being a record of failure. It becomes a record of distance traveled, and you are not done traveling. At $500,000, you stop being a person at family events and start being a figure. The introduction changes. There is no longer a question about how you are doing, what you enjoy, or what you are thinking about. There is just a number in the background of every sentence, and the sentence is designed to aim that number at whoever is listening. The requests scale up in proportion. What was $200 becomes $5,000. The framing adjusts to match. It would be nothing to you. That phrase is doing structural work. It turns a request into a moral test. You pay the larger amounts because they genuinely are not large to you anymore, and because you still want to be the person who helps. But generosity at this level starts to produce a specific discovery. Gratitude has a half-life. You can measure it in weeks. A significant gift buys approximately 3 weeks of warmth before the baseline resets. The baseline, it turns out, is not about your generosity. It is about how you compare to the family's previous benchmark. You can close the financial gap. You cannot close the psychological one. It was never about the numbers. You are no longer a person who has money in the family's operating model. You are the origin point of money, a position, not a person. 2 people in the entire extended network do not treat you this way. One calls every week just to talk and has never asked for anything. The other still tries to hand you something on your way out the door. You start to understand that these 2 people are the control group. Everyone else is the experiment. A group chat appears. The name has a heart in it. The first message is not a greeting. At $1 million, the nature of the asks transforms from needs into opportunities. People stop asking you to cover emergencies. They start asking you to fund futures. Their futures, built on your capital, presented in whatever format they assembled the night before. You say yes to one of them, but you put it in writing. Repayment schedule, signature line, clear terms. The paperwork causes more damage to the relationship than the original poverty ever did. You learn something important from this. The contract is not the problem. The contract simply revealed that you and the asker were operating under completely different assumptions about what the transaction was. A financial advisor frames it precisely. Money lent to family recovers at close to zero. Either treat it as a gift or do not extend it. There is no third option that preserves both the money and the relationship. The day you start declining requests is the day you become the story that gets told about you at other people's tables. You changed. Money changed you. 2 relatives repeat this in the same month, both of whom you bailed out recently. Here is the actual mechanism underneath that accusation. The money did not change the relationship. The money illuminated what the relationship already was. The love is real. The love is also conditional. Both things are true and not in conflict. The one transaction that feels entirely clean is the one where no terms are negotiated, no receipt is expected, and the other person tried to refuse it entirely. You pay it anyway. Buried deep enough that it cannot be found. You pay it because the giving is the entire point. You stop attending the gatherings. The moment you disappear in person, the family starts engineering alternate routes to reach you. At 10 million, your absence becomes a logistics problem the family solves without you. One person becomes the relay. Requests arrive pre-softened, pre-framed, delivered with the assurance that she is just passing it along. Eventually, even that channel requires management. You hire someone to filter it. There is now a professional stranger between you and your own family, deciding which relatives get through. You did not design this system. It's self-assembled in response to pressure. That is worth noticing. The architecture of distance at this wealth level is not chosen. It emerges. The family's internal clock becomes precise. Good news about your finances travels to the extended network, and 4 days later, contact arrives. The interval is consistent enough to schedule around. You make a large gift to your parents, a house in a neighborhood that matches the family's idea of arrival. They are grateful for several weeks. Then the gift begins to produce friction you did not purchase and cannot return. The house placed them next to people whose reference points they cannot match. You bought them a location and accidentally bought them a daily reminder of distance. The gift revealed a distinction that costs a great deal to learn. People do not always want the thing they ask for. Sometimes they want what the thing represents, and what it represents is internal. You cannot wire transfer it. A child at a birthday party asks the cleanest possible version of a question that has been circling your family for years. Why do you give them money if they still do not like you? Nobody in the room with adult vocabulary has managed to ask it that directly. You make the most structurally efficient decision available. You place your parents on a fixed monthly transfer. The asks stop arriving in irregular waves. The relationship now operates on a schedule. You realize what you have just built. You have put the people who raised you on payroll. The infrastructure of care has become the infrastructure of compensation. You sit with that for a long time. At 100 million, the family relationship requires legal architecture to function. Estate documents, structured agreements before any capital moves, beneficiary designations written in language that used to describe strangers, not relatives. A guest at your home signs a non-disclosure agreement before dinner. She signs it quickly, more quickly than she has ever sent a thank you note. Your attorney offers a matter-of-fact observation. Everyone at this level does this with family, especially family. That word is the one that stays with you. The people who were supposed to be the exception to every formal boundary are, at this level, the first category that requires formal boundaries. You try to remember what the word family meant before the legal definitions replaced it. Your name now operates independently of your involvement. Relatives claim credit for your trajectory in rooms you have never entered. Fundraising efforts invoke your name for causes you have never heard of and collect significant money before you are informed. At 0, your name had no value. At 100 million, your name is a family asset with no access controls, and you are consistently the last to know when it has been spent. The person who first mocked your ambition 30 years ago comes to see you alone. No performance, no posture, just an old man who needs help saving the last thing he built. You could close the loop right here. The line is ready. You do not use it. You write the check with no conditions attached because you understand by now that needing the victory is its own form of scarcity, and you are not in scarcity anymore. He sees the framed object on your way out. He stands at it long enough to understand exactly what it is and how long you kept it visible. He says nothing. 30 years of positioning collapse in a few seconds of silence. The phone rings immediately after. It is not about money. Someone who never asked for anything is in the hospital. At $1 billion, you discover the exact boundary of what money can do. You can mobilize the best resources available anywhere. You can compress the timeline. You can guarantee that nothing is delayed by cost. What you cannot do is change the outcome. $1 billion buys the best possible room in which to lose someone. That is the ceiling. That is where the number stops. You sit in that room and conduct an inventory of everyone currently in your life. 2 assistants, a family office, relatives on structured payments, a former adversary on a consulting retainer that exists primarily to preserve his dignity. Every one of them is warm. Every one of them is also, without exception, on a payroll you sign. You go back through memory looking for the last person who entered your life with no transaction attached. The search ends in this hospital room. She wakes up. She sees you, the coat, the reputation, the number attached to your name, and she ignores all of it. She pushes a small plate of food at you. She saved it from her own lunch. You are too skinny. The same gesture she has made since before you had anything. It has not changed because you have not changed in her accounting system. She never had one for you. She asks not about the company, not about the portfolio, not about what comes next. She asks if you are happy. You cannot answer that question honestly, so you say yes. She holds your hand and accepts the answer she knows is incomplete. It is her last act of mercy toward you. She dies 4 days later. In a shoebox under her bed, you find a scratch-off lottery ticket. Same denomination as the one framed in your office. Different ticket. On the back, in pencil, a date. The morning after the gathering where you were mocked for having nothing. She had gone out and bought her own ticket, scratched it alone at her kitchen table. It lost. She kept it anyway. Written inside in her handwriting, 4 words. Proof I was right. The same $2. One person spent theirs to tell you that you would never make it. She spent hers to record that she believed you would. Same object, same odds. The only variable was the intention of the hand that held it. You are the wealthiest person within a considerable radius, and you sit on the floor of her 1-bedroom apartment and cannot move. Years pass. You host the family at a scale that would have been incomprehensible to the version of you who sat at the edge of the room with nothing. Everyone is here. The table is long enough to fit all of them. They need a gate code to enter the property. You can read the room from the head of it the way a meteorologist reads a pressure system. Who positioned themselves near you? Who rehearsed their approach? Who brought materials to a dinner that was not a meeting? The choreography you first noticed 30 years ago now performs itself at ballroom scale. You recognize every move. One person walks in and finds you without navigating the room first. Your younger sister, a working nurse, still driving her own car, still asking only whether you are sleeping enough. She has never taken anything she did not earn. She is the last person alive who still looks at you before the number. There is a younger relative at a side table, mid-20s, broke, talking about something nobody at the main table is taking seriously, getting the same patient, dismissive smiles you once received. You watch him and you see the mechanism from the outside for the first time. The table is performing the same function it always performed. It sorts people by current value and discards the ones whose value has not yet shown up. You get up. You go to the kitchen. You wrap a plate in foil with your own hands. Then you carry it to the side table and sit down. You press the plate into his hands and say, quietly so the main table cannot hear, the 6 words that were said to you at a kitchen sink 30 years ago. They do not see it. I do. You set down the framed ticket in front of him. He will not fully understand it today. He will understand it the day he needs it. Across the room, the man who once handed you a losing ticket as a joke lifts his glass toward you. You nod back. The exchange is brief. There is no warmth in it and no hostility either. Just 2 people on opposite ends of a long arc, acknowledging that the arc is real. You stay at the side table. The seat at the head of the room is the seat everyone in this building is calibrating their position relative to. The seat at the side table is the only one where nobody is counting anything. There is a financial education that happens in textbooks, and there is a financial education that only happens when money moves through a family system in real time. The textbook version covers assets, returns, allocation, and compounding. None of it prepares you for what happens to your relationships as the numbers change. What actually happens is this: your financial growth does not change the people around you. It changes what you represent to them. And what you represent to them changes what they are able to give you. The mechanism is not cynical, it is structural. People respond to incentives. Larger wealth creates larger incentives. The behavior that follows is predictable, not malicious. Understanding this early is a form of financial protection. If you expect unconditional relationships to survive large wealth gaps without any structure, you will fund a great deal of disappointment. The practical architecture matters. Clear agreements before capital moves. Structured support instead of irregular requests. Understanding that a gift and a loan are different instruments with different relational costs. The deeper lesson runs underneath all of that. Wealth is exceptionally good at revealing what was already true. The conditional relationships were conditional before the money. The genuine ones remain genuine after it. The rarest thing in a high-wealth life is contact with someone who interacts with you as a person rather than a position. It becomes rarer at every level. When you find it, you will recognize it because it looks nothing like the rest. No ask, no approach angle, no interval. Just someone handing you something with no expectation attached. That is not a small thing. At sufficient scale, it becomes the most valuable thing you have. More scarce than capital, harder to compound, and impossible to acquire through any transaction. The table gets longer as the number grows. The number of people added who actually see you does not grow with it. Most people spend their financial lives trying to reach the head of the table. The work worth doing is learning to recognize which seat actually costs the most to sit in.